Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to another trading session. Well, I hope you had a good weekend, a great weekend. I hope that you get some sun as well, because the start of this week is kind of weird here. Trump did once again some announcements on the tariffs about China, and they really injected some volatility in the market. So I hope your weekend was relaxed and was um, kind of good, because yeah, the first hours of the market will eventually be be hard. Uh, we have a large expansion, as you can see. Price um, closed here down below on Friday. Then we opened here um, yesterday at 6. We opened here. We left a gap on ES of about 60 handles behind. And then during London, boom, we moved once again to the upside violently. Um, I guess this was about the news that Trump said that he will eventually delay some tariffs for about 90 days on China. So the market reacted quite heavily here to the upside, and yeah, it leaves us with an enormous range and with an enormous gap here down below. But what do we see here, right? This is the main question, and this is what I will try eventually to answer. Well, right now, price did what we usually don't like, which is an expansion during London. When something like this happens on a Monday, and if this expansion drives price right through and right to a point of interest, which is this fair value gap on the weekly and the top of this week here on the weekly as well, we can eventually start to think that, okay, Monday and Tuesday will eventually work for the high of the week, and we can eventually expect a lower drive of price through the week. So eventually we will form the high of the week here today, or eventually tomorrow. It depends on how price will behave as soon as it opens at 9:30. And then we might eventually expect lower prices during Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But yeah, we will have to wait and see eventually if this theory, it's not a theory, it's like the weekly ranges. It's like the weekly ranges usually behave like this. So yeah, I would like to see how price really wants to keep drifting to the upside, or eventually start to come lower here. But the main plan here will be observation, um, because there's not much I can do right now, honestly. Observation, and then eventually at 10, with the formation of the new 4-hour candle, I might eventually um, search for something. I'm not bullish or bearish yet. Um, yeah, it's kind of tough. These market conditions are, I would say, they are all messed up with all this volatility injected by Trump during London. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, and probably there was a lot of people trying to get into longs last week, expecting this move higher. And yeah, they just they just went to sideline it, because there's nothing you can anticipate when something like this happens. So yeah, the main objective here will be, and the main plan here will be waiting for 10 a.m. There is no news today, but I will wait for 10 a.m. and then if the high of the first of the last, I mean, and of the last 4 hour candle gets purged, and then we will displace to the downside, yeah, then I will eventually take some shorts, and the other way around, the vice versa plan might eventually be on the table as well. So let me just mark here the 4 hour candle low as well. So as you can see right now, we are inside the range of the last 4 hour candle, of the not the last, the actual 4 hour candle. So there's not much we can do. We will have to wait and see if price really wants to dig higher or eventually start to come lower. I'm just waiting for 9:30 open as well. But yeah, this type of price action leave us with some harsh conditioning, with some harsh conditions to trade. It's not easy when you have all this left open behind. And yeah, right now price, as you can see, is inside or trying to push higher on a 4 hour fair value gap, a bearish one. If we look into the weekly, as you can see here, it has some confluence with a weekly fair value gap as well. So this is a major point of interest. So I believe price will eventually be here for some time, trying to gain some structure, and it can happen in between Monday to Tuesday, and eventually Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We can eventually expect lower prices, but I really have to see how price behaves during these sessions here. So 9:30 open. 9:30 open here, displacing lower, forming a new low, probably. I will just take this off for now. This will be marked at 10 a.m. And yeah, we always have to keep in mind when we have some kind of London expansion, especially on a Monday. Whenever we have a London expansion on the on a Monday, yeah, we can eventually expect a formation of the high of the week. That's why I would like to see how price will behave in between Monday to Tuesday. So yeah, no rush here, just observing and see what price really wants to do. So 9:30 just opened. We have the first presented fair value gap as well. Here it is. The price rejecting the 4 hour bearish fair value gap, the major point of interest here, both on NQ and ES. NQ and ES are doing a similar job now. So I really want to see where this retrace goes. We have a lot of long stops here. A lot of people try to long this for another run to the upside. So I believe this should be some kind of a manipulation leg, but we will have to wait. Hi Arius, how you doing? Hope you're doing well today. Just be cautious with the market, honestly. So we haven't looked at the midnight open, but the midnight open is really down below here. As you can see, it has some confluence with the London lows as well. So London just supported on the midnight open and boom to the upside. Welcome to the stream, Sandro. Welcome to the stream. Be very careful this week because honestly, honestly, it's always tricky when you have a London expansion on a Monday without any scheduled news. Um, the only thing that drove price to the upside here was the tariffs on the announcement of the 90 days decrease on tariffs in between the USA and China. So just wait until price really gives you something that you will identify as long as you as soon as you put your eyes into it. So as I said in the beginning of the stream, I will wait until 10 a.m. That's the main plan here, just to see where price really wants to go, or if it wants to stay here above and starts to do something like this. Yeah, it can eventually do something like this, and this is kind of annoying, honestly. Um, it would be great to see price come a little bit lower here, starts to do something like this, take out buy side liquidity here as the 4 hour candle high, and then displace once again to the downside and do something like this. This would be a good setup waiting for this purge here, but yeah, it's always hard to demand something from price when you have a large range like this. You really have to let price gain some structure and eventually wait for it. There's nothing that we can eventually do here that we will say that okay, this is high probability environment. This is I'm 80% or 70% sure that's gonna happen. Yeah, right now I'm not sure about it. We can eventually do something this like this. Price comes back into the first Fair gap, and then eventually comes down and seeks for these lows here. These lows here are kind of suspicious for me as well. So we will have to wait and see. Um, Asia lows. Usually people try to target Asia as the drawn liquidity. But as you can see, London just expanded, and if you are expecting Asia lows to be your drawn liquidity, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not right now. But we can eventually dig all the way down and return. But it would be kind of messy on the daily if we had some kind of a retrace like that. Imagine coming all the way down here on a daily. That would be very, very aggressive. Um, but yeah, it can eventually happen as well. I believe in everything at this point. So price is now reacting to this end walk that we have here, this shaded area. It came down below right at 9:30 um, and stopped right at the top of the end walk. So at this point, I want to see if price really wants to go for these lows right here, and then eventually give us some bullish structure in between 950 to 10, or if it will invert, come back to the first presented for value gap, respect it as a bearish PD array, and then seek for lower. Right now, these are the things that I'm trying to understand from price. So I will give it some more time here. Price kind of stopped here, right at the top of the end walk. Trying to get inside of it right now. So as you can see, bearish PD arrays are being respected here. You can see here this bearish one. We have this for value gap, the bearish for value gap. And at this point, I believe this is the low hanging fruit here, these relative equal lows, just like expected. And then I would like to see what price really wants to do, because at this point, I believe this is kind of a Judas swing here. otherwise price will eventually come back lower. But I guess it's a bit soon here. Usually the market tends to form the high of the week in between Monday to Tuesday. So I believe we can eventually see another stretch to the upside just to take out buy side liquidity. But we really have to observe what price really wants to do. So NQ and the AS, they are doing a similar job, but NQ it's kind of it's more heavy. It's quite more heavy. NQ already took this liquidity here. Um, so if things stay as they are here, we might have a possible SMT. But I believe ES will eventually take these lows too. Seems like it's kind of primed here to do so. So let's wait. Well, Sandro, if you are watching this, I will answer to your Instagram DM later. Okay, I did not forget it. Sometimes I take some time to answer to everybody. But I usually don't leave anyone without any kind of answer. So just give me some time. I will answer you, and eventually try to help you as well. Okay, Sandro. So yeah, you're not forgotten. Just give me some time. Okay. I will answer your DMs, and I will eventually give you a tip or two to to get better on your mindset as well. So price once again trying to reach for the bearish fair value gap here. Yeah, thank you, Sandro. Yeah, thank you for watching as well. Um, it's always nice and to see people relating, people being related to what we're doing. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. It makes me a bit more accountable as well. So oh, I will remind you guys tomorrow. I won't be able to stream. I will have a family lunch. It's a birthday lunch, so I will not be able to stream. I will probably come for a later session, maybe New York PM, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if how things will run. So the only thing that I'm certain of is that I won't be able to be here at 9:30 New York local time. Okay. At the time I will be lunching with family members, so I won't be able to be here at that time. It will be about 2:30 p.m. here in Portugal. So I will be at that lunch for sure. And I will probably engage with combined accounts later this week, probably on Wednesday, since I cannot, since I won't be able to stream tomorrow. I will be back to combined accounts probably on Wednesday. It depends on how the market behaves, of course, because with all this volatility, I knew a lot of traders are sidelined now. I don't know if you guys know about Kane, Trader Kane. I think that's his name. He's an OG on ICT concepts as well, and he just published a video saying that he will be out of the markets for some time because he feels that his edge it's not working with these conditions. These conditions are quite hard. ICT himself said that the market hasn't been that hard for some years. Um, he hasn't seen the market in such hard conditions for some years. So yeah, I guess we all have to keep this in mind and eventually not asking too much from us. You know, uh, conditions are very hard. There's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of things are not stable. Economy, the politics, um, things are not stable right now. So I believe a lot of edges uh, stop work with this kind of conditions. You know, so keep that in mind. Don't try to demand too much from yourself and give it time. That's that's the main thing. And allow yourself to lose. Give it time and allow yourself to lose. That's those two things are one of the most important things in trade. I believe so. I believe. So price stopped right at the midpoint of the N walk here. We still have these relative equal lows, but since NQ already took them, it is permissible for ES not to take them. So if we can see here, because we are entering 950 as well. So 950 macro to 1010. If we can see some measure of displacement to the upside, starting to invert bearish PD arrays right at this point, we would have SMT confirmed with NQ. We would have some kind of a breaker structure, and we would have some kind of inversion of bearish PD arrays as well inside the macro. So this would give us some confidence for a movement to the upside. But yeah, it might, even if we had some kind of a movement to the upside, it would be considered a hard movement to the upside because we have a big structure, a big bearish structure here to invert. So the first presented fair value gap is always, and if you watched my Friday's stream, the first presented fair value gap was one of the hardest resistance that I encountered last Friday. So it can eventually give us a leg to the upside, but as soon as it hits the first presented fair value gap, it can eventually come to the downside once again. So 950 macro. So far, nothing. And so far, we have the low of the 4-hour candle here. Let me just see how NQ presented the low. So yeah, we have an SMT here with NQ as well. See, push to the upside here as anticipated. And this will give us some kind of a breaker structure, we can eventually consider this candle the breaker. And now what I would like to see is a movement coming back down here, and then another displacement leg to the upside. This would be eventually some kind of a setup. I would leave this one here like this. So this could eventually be a bullish setup here. Since we have SMT here on the lows with NQ, and we have SMT here in between these relative equal lows here and this one here right here as well. So price not giving us any chance to interact here. No retrace so far. We still have 6 minutes before 10 a.m. So the next 4-hour candle will be here in 5 minutes. Let's just mark here the OT retracement levels as well. So it would be permissible for price to come here down below. So this would give us a 5 handle stop. Let me just check my position size calculator. So it would give us a 8 micro permission. So let's see if price really wants to do this, or if we will have that thing that I said, where the first presented fair value gap acts as resistance here and drives price lower. But so far we have a nice rejection here. Yeah, not seeing this long right here to hold. Price is really doing some damage here. Let's see if it can, if this breaker can hold or not. If price still wants to close above the 0.62, I would consider it a good reaction. Otherwise, if price still wants to dig lower here, I will not interact with that long. Yeah, these wicks are doing here a lot of damage. The breaker structure did not hold as I would like to, honestly. But let's see if price really wants to hold here, since we are inside a macro, or if we go lower. I would like to see price start to close above the 0.62. There we go. Now if we close above it, Yeah, just notice how price is taking maybe too much time here. It should react quicker. Wicks are doing a lot of damage, but we are still closing inside the breaker. Let's see how this candle closes. If this candle closes how it is right now, yeah, we will definitely go for these relative equal lows here, and eventually that scenario where I pointed a retrace to the first presented fair value gap, and this would be eventually the scenario that we will have in place. But even the down move, it's not enticing enough to interact with, honestly. Yeah, wicks doing a lot of damage for everybody that tried a long position right here. But OTE is still holding here. Retracing back to the breaker. Now let's see if we got an inverted breaker or if it wants to come inside of it once again. But as you can see, nothing is clear enough to interact with. Yeah, breaker is acting as an inverted breaker right now. So let's see if price will eventually go for this sell side here, because it can eventually happen as well. Going for this sell side here and then do what we were expecting. Nice reaction here. See how OTE levels are still being respected with a lot of damage. I kind of like this type of reaction here. Price is back to the breaker, trying to get above it. Yeah, if we can get above this for value gap here, the inverted one, then I would reconsider once again the bullish scenario. So far, 3 minutes inside the new 4 hour candle. So the lows haven't been purged yet, not on ES and not on NQ. At this point, I would not mind to see these lows here being purged, and then eventually um, and move to the upside. I will take this out here. Price is just mumbling around, not giving as much to work with, honestly. See, I guess it's kind of easy to get trapped inside this this price action here. It's very easy. We just have to wait to not get trapped into it, especially when price is um, inside a point of interest, which is the end walk. Usually, the end walks work as trampolines, and yeah, this first reaction was kind of very nice, but I didn't like how price just came right directly near the first presented fair value gap. I would like to see. I would like. I really would like to see some kind of retracement back before heading to the first presented. But yeah, it's not enticing enough for us to interact with something here. The macro should deliver something clearer, and usually you don't have to demand a lot inside a macro from price, but when you are demanding enough and price does not give you enough inside a macro, well, if it doesn't deliver what you want inside a macro, it won't deliver you outside of the macro for sure. So you have to have that in mind. Price coming up once again. But at this point, there are two chances, or we are time distorting. We have two chances, or we are time distorting, and then I would like to see a push to the upside. But first, I would like to see a purge of these lows here, and then boom to the upside violently, or we are just consolidating, which is possible as well, since the expansion already occurred inside London, so we might not see any type of expansion on New York. These are scenarios that we have to have in mind. Otherwise, we will get caught inside this price action, which will always, in a majority of times, will drive you crazy because inside this price range you can switch your bias many times, and at some point you will get confused and you don't know what to do, or you go long or you go short, or I'm bearish or I'm bullish, or and at some point you are just reacting to what price is doing, trying to chase it, and that's the scenario that you really want to avoid, honestly. Well, at this point, I will demand a purge of this liquidity here, at least. Um, and then we will see what we can do Price coming back down once again. Um, the breaker is, I don't know if we can still consider this a breaker, but I guess so. It's, it's it's holding, but it's not holding as you would like to. Keep in mind that we might consolidate for the rest of the NY AM session because tomorrow we will have CPI as well. So it's an important news driver. We will have it at let me just see, CPI 7:30. It's not 7:30. It will be at 7:30. It's not 7:30. I guess it's 8:30. Yeah, it's 8:30. 8:30 in the morning we will have CPI. So if you if you were able to get your hand out of the trigger here and not engage with this price action, I have to congratulate you because uh, it can sometimes it can be very enticing, especially when we saw this leg to the upside here. And I was telling you guys, okay, we will wait for some type of retrace and see if the breaker holds. But as soon as I started to see a lot of damage being done here and price trying to close below the breaker, mm, I didn't like it for sure. We might we might go to the upside, but at this point, even if I had my long here, I think I was positioned like this. Yeah, I was positioned like this. I would have been stopped out because of these wicks that have done a lot of damage. See how the body's closed inside my stop loss, but the wicks, yeah, I would have been a victim of damage produced by wicks here. So the only thing that I had to had a larger stop loss. I think I had a 5 point stop loss. I would avoid it in between eight handles. So price now respected the breaker. At this point, I'm not that interested here on this move to the upside. I can see a lot of liquidity here still. And I'm curious to see what price is going to do as soon as we take this high here. The range for something here is not that enticing as well. So this is a 10 handle range in between the first presented fair value gap and the breaker. So not very enticing. The first presented fair value gap can act as a big resistance here. So yeah, I'm just watching here. It will react as soon as it reaches it. So at this point, I can see that ES is a bit stronger on the higher time frames than NQ. NQ is doing about 50% the bearish of the bearish candle on the 4 hour, and ES is right at the top of the body. So if we really will have a stretch to the upside here, I would like to see price gain some strong momentum to the upside here, piercing through the first presented fair value gap with no hesitation, and some speed, and gaining some speed here, which is not totally happening right now. Let's see if these bullish PD arrays, the fair value gap, especially the fair value gap, this one right here, if this one holds, if it gets respected. Yeah, for those watching the stream, I can see that I'm having some internet connection problems. I don't know why. Usually when I get some problems with the internet connection is usually about the internet provider. It's something with their with it's something like a problem of their own. I don't think I can do anything here. I can see that on Twitch where I'm completely froze, and on YouTube it's still running, but with some kind of delay. That's unfortunate, but I can do nothing here. Yeah, price um, took the high, tapped the first presented fair value gap, and started to retrace. Let's see if this fair value gap holds or if it comes back inside this range. So if it really comes inside this range, I'm more inclined to see lower prices, honestly. Since we still have sell side liquidity as the 4 hour candle to purge. Yeah, price coming back inside the range here. First presented for value gap, acting as a big resistance as anticipated, and now displacing to the downside, inverting completely this bullish for value gap. Let me just check the OTE levels here just to see where price is. Still permissible for price to come to these levels. But I guess if we lose this breaker, we will dig lower. I'm noticing that NQ did not take this high here. And we are driving back up here. So not much with it we can honestly do. Harsh conditions and hard conditions were anticipated from the first minutes of the stream. So nothing that surprises us honestly. Yeah, I guess we are back with the normal internet connection. I kind of faced some internet connection problems. I'm sorry about that. It usually has to do with the provider. Um, it's not common, but sometimes it happens. I'm sorry if I kind of lagged or if I kind of got stopped in both streams here on YouTube and on Twitch. Yeah, for those who are watching here, if you're not subscribed to the channel, you can eventually subscribe. I would appreciate that. And yeah, a like would eventually help as well. Thank you for your hey Sandra, thank you. It's working now, right? Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, quite a boring session here, honestly. $9.50 to $10.10 didn't give as much as well. But yeah, I said that if we manage to really close below this breaker and invert the breaker, I would go for these relative equal high lows and the sell side liquidity as the last 4-hour candle. Price just displacing here. Nice displacement to the downside. But yeah, we are still inside of range, you know. It's kind of tricky to get into something when we are inside of range. Let's see if price wants to retest the breaker, eventually come for this or the block here, and then give us some short entry to the downside. But as you can see, we are outside of the macro already. So things might not work as we expect. Just keep in mind that we are still inside the NWOG, so expect some kind of resistance inside the NWOG. So far, taking out sell side liquidity as the 4-hour candle low, which is nice. And these relative equal lows will be taken as well. Yeah, another good read here, anticipating a lower run, but yeah, price is not giving us a clear entry here. The only thing that should eventually work as an entry here should eventually be the tap on the first presented fair value gap or the formation of this order block here. Otherwise, there is no entry here. So sell side has been taken here as the last 4-hour candle. Let's see if we can dig a little bit lower. But we are inside an NWOG, and this NWOG can eventually act as support here. So that's why we still have to wait. Notice that so far we haven't done anything besides waiting, which is normal, especially in conditions like this. Relative equal lows taken here. And now we got all this imbalance. This 1 minute and eventually 15-minute imbalance to fulfill. Let's see if we will eventually fulfill this, or if we just take these relative equal lows and shoot once again to the upside. Let me just check here where price is as well. So this can eventually give us a nice projection of price. And this projection has quite some some big confluence where -4 stands for midnight open and London lows as well. So price reaching for -1 standard deviation right now. Let's see if price really wants to dig lower. If we keep respecting bearish PD arrays here, we might see some action lower. Or we might eventually just be taking this liquidity here and start digging to the upside. Let me just check the 3-minute here. So on the 3-minute, we still have this bearish fair value gap here. We can eventually go for the order block as well. So I will just let price do its own thing. The end wall here acting as resistance. Price stopped right at -1 standard deviation and it's stuck inside -1 and -0.5. Here we had a clear rejection of the NWOG. Yeah, price trying to hold here on the last bearish fair value gap here. I always get cautious whenever we got a liquidity sweep forming a fair value gap. It usually gets inverted, but I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, so far it's still a bearish one. Yeah, price is taking a long time here, right at the liquidity sweep. Looking into the 3 minutes, we can eventually demand a higher retrace. Yeah, for those who are asking me what am I trading on Twitch, yeah, I'm just trading ES, which is the futures format for S&P 500. I just trade ES. In this case, it's the micro ES. So see, whenever you have a liquidity sweep and it leaves a fair value gap, um, I usually get cautious about this because it might not act as continuation to the downside, but it might act as support to the upside here in this case. So prices um, is retracing back to the NWOG, the new weak opening gap. So I can eventually demand a higher retrace from price, eventually to the midpoint of the NWOG. And let's see if price really wants to go there and shoot to the upside, or if it just uh, retraces there and comes back down. But at this point, sell side has been taken. Relative equal lows are taken as well. So if we can get nice displacement above this fair value gap and this old breaker here, I could eventually ask for higher prices, because this was the intended plan as soon as we take out the 4 hour candle low, the previous one. Yeah, I used to trade crypto. I used to trade crypto, but but not at this time. I don't think crypto on the long run um, behaves like the futures, like S&P and Q. That's why I'm not trading it. The concepts still work. The majority of them still work on crypto, but crypto has it's a wild beast, you know. Sometimes it has no rules, and I'm not here to deal with something that has no rules. So if I trade crypto, yeah, I used to, but at this time, I'm just trying to focus on something that gives me some clear behavior and some repetitive behavior. And yeah, crypto is too volatile, and the behavior of crypto is usually enticed by tweets, by random things in the market, which doesn't happen in the futures market like ES. That's why I prefer to trade ES. Now we have Trump speaking as well and tweeting and everything like that, but usually it doesn't happen like that. Yeah, Bohannon, right? Bohannon. Yeah, it's really a wild beast, man. You have to have in mind a lot of risk management with that beast, because whenever something goes like this morning, there was a meme coin, which is with I think it just pumped 30%. Yeah, it's completely abnormal, and it's not sustainable. You will not have a I mean, in trading, you need patterns, you need repetition, um, you need something that gives you um, something repeatable. And the only thing that I can see that's repeatable on crypto is the bear market on meme coins. That's quite repeatable, and it's quite easy to make money on meme coins when the bear market is installed. Um, Otherwise, yeah, things turn things usually surprises you, and I'm not here to take that risk. Honestly, I like to be in an environment that you can control, uh, and not be subjective to a tweet or something like that. You know, that's why I don't trade crypto anymore. You can do it on a swing basis, probably with your risk very controlled. It's not that hard, but yeah, things can turn around in a matter of hours. Imagine being in a short opened on whiff for weeks and weeks and weeks, and suddenly it makes 34%. Yeah, it's nuts, you know. Yeah, you should. eh, Yeah, you should work with something that's more stable, and not so volatile. Um, you should work with something that honestly gives you a clear plan. And crypto can eventually not give you that clear plan when things just from from something that happened pumps, I don't know, 40%, 30%, or something like that. It's kind of hard to plan something for events like that. It kind of surprises you, and and it can be frustrating in a long run. Imagine Imagine shorting something, and you had a swing short open for, I don't know, weeks and weeks, and suddenly that swing short goes to break even, and yeah, okay, I just lost weeks and weeks of my time with that. Yeah, yeah, that kind of volatility. In order to engage with that kind of volatility, you have to have in mind that you can't put a large amount of money on that. You have to go with small amounts of money. Otherwise, you are risking too much on a environment like that. You know, I don't know what's happening with my internet connection. I can see that I'm frozen and I'm freezing a lot today. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, it's usually the internet provider when something like that happens. Well, if you are beginning in the trading environment, I would advise you to search for something that's more not that wild, because you won't get richer or you won't get rich quicker with that amount of volatility. Um, it usually wrecks you even faster and quicker, and with no with ruthless with all that ruthlessness that comes with crypto. So yeah, I would advise you to search for something that's not that wild. Yeah, if you are beginning with the trading, with your trading journey, you should you should search for something that's more predictable, that's not so volatile, and yeah, that has a pattern. Honestly, yeah, I know. You are not picking my brain, my man. I can ask you any questions that you guys want. Honestly, yeah. Give a follow my work if you want to learn something. I'm just learning. I will be learning for the next couple of the years, I guess. But yeah, give me a like and a follow if you really are interested in trading. I will be here every day, so yeah, you can you can watch it and eventually learn something from that. And yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, and something that you have to consider as well, that usually makes things a bit harder. Whenever you trade, I mean crypto or forex or some kind of commodities, there's always the commission side that's that's usually not so transparent. Um, Sometimes you pay, I don't know, $5 to enter a trade. Sometimes you pay 10, sometimes you pay one. You don't have that on the futures market. The commission is always the same. Whenever you open a position, you will open a position on that point and not, yeah, imagine it happens a lot on Forex, where you open a position uh, at, I don't know, at 500, but it will open your position effectively at 510. Yeah, it's very annoying, and to play on a 1 minute basis time frame, um, it gets very hard to play like that. So keep that in mind, that in the futures, um, in the futures market, it doesn't happen like that. You can eventually suffer from some kind of slippage, um, but major events have to happen to slippage happen as well. So keep that in mind, brother. And thank you for your questions, and thank you for your follow as well. Yeah, so far we have been seeing price returning to the range. We kind of anticipated a reversal here. I was kind of suspicious. That's why I didn't interact with any shorts here. We had some big confluences here, but yeah, I was not sure about this move to the downside. So far, price is retesting once again this breaker, but as you can see, it's inside the range. It's consolidating here. Um, we might have not a structure to play with. As you can see, the macro didn't do anything as well. We have another macro here at 1050, which can eventually be a trigger for something to happen. But the only thing that I see here is a continuation to the upside since we purged the and walked the new opening gap, took out sell side liquidity, took out relative equal lows. We are trying to support inside or above the end wall. So yeah, now we have buy side liquidity here as the 4 hour candle high. Left we have 9:30 open, we have 8:30 open as well. So I can eventually see a run to the upside, but since we have to progress through the first presented fair value gap, it's always kind of tricky. So let me just mark here another projection. Yeah, this one is quite accurate as well. Have some confluences as well. So -2 standard deviation for 9:30 open, and the final target for buy side liquidity is the 4 hour candle high. But it's kind of tricky to enter here. We would have to have a major retrace. Yeah, somewhere inside the end walk. And I don't think I will interact with something that comes so deep here. Let me just check the 3 minutes and the 5 as well. So we are inside a big busy, which is a the ACB, I mean, which is a sell side imbalance. Yeah, on a 15-minute, we can eventually retrace to this bearish fair value gap as well. So inside this bearish fair value gap, just let me see, 930. So 930, yeah, which is this one here. Price starting to retrace. We'll just mark this out. We'll just classify this as an inverted one. This one as well. And at this point, this breaker makes no sense to be here. So 1050 to 1110, the macro started. So let's see if we can have a follow through of the bearish movement, or if we just will do some kind of a retrace. But honestly, things are not easy to read right now. I'm not having a clear read of what price really wants to do. Hmm. Yeah, price coming back to the end walk, trying to reach for support here right at the inverted fair value gap. But it's kind of permissible for price to come lower. Price trying to push a little bit higher, but honestly, I'm not that convinced for anything on price right now. I'm just letting it do its own thing. See, we are back inside the range. So honestly, there's not much we can do. Hard conditions were expected, and hard conditions were delivered. That's the main lesson that we can take from this stream, honestly. Yeah, price slowly grinding to the upside, but there's no energy here. We are inside the 11 a.m. window, which is the time of the day where things can get a little bit tricky, since the main the main the main job for price is eventually done, and yeah, we can eventually continue to consolidate here. See, no energy to the upside, displacement to the downside here. Let me just check in Q what NQ is doing. Yeah, doing the same. Yeah, so anticipated a hard morning, and it really delivered a hard morning, a consolidation, and it really is consolidating. Its price has no direction for now. We could eventually interact with this, seek for sell side liquidity here, but the only thing that I saw here was a touch on the order block here. Otherwise, there was no, there was nothing. There was nothing that we could interact with. We could eventually interact here somewhere, but yeah, we were right below the end walk, so we had no, we didn't know for sure if this bullish setup would hold. Yeah, so everything in the beginning of the stream, I said that price will probably be working on the high of the week between Monday and Tuesday. Why? Because we expanded on London on a Monday, and usually when you expand, uh, usually when you expand on London and you hit some type of a high time frame point of interest, um, usually the high will be on Monday, in between Monday to Tuesday. So I eventually expecting some type of consolidation, right in between Monday and Tuesday. Eventually, a seek for high prices, taking out buy side liquidity. But as soon as we take, as soon as we take that liquidity, um, and we will have CPI tomorrow, which can help for sure. Um, we might eventually consider lower prices, starting to see lower prices between Wednesday to Friday. That would be a weekly plan. It can eventually not happen, and we have to be fine with that. It can be an up only week, which I really don't believe. But yeah, but it can happen. It can happen. So we have to have that in mind for the price action that will follow these next days. We have to keep that in mind that it can be tricky. Usually, it is tricky when something like this happens, when price expands inside London right at Monday, reaching for the high time frame point of interest. So yeah, we were expecting some kind of a consolidation here. We got that consolidation. There was nothing that we can work with, honestly. It would be very risky to try to do something here down below eventually. Eventually, a turtle soup for those who like turtle soup and play turtle soup. Yeah, this would be a great setup, because sell side liquidity on the 4 hour candle was taken, relative equal lows was taken as well. So the only thing that I did not like here is that we were not inside of any macro. So that really turned me off here, while not seeing anything inside happening inside a macro. So that's why. That's why. That's why I didn't engage in anything like this. You're welcome. You're welcome, Sandra. Thank you for being here. I will be here tomorrow, not tomorrow, Wednesday. So hope to see you here next Wednesday. And And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for interacting as well. Yeah, and I will be here for some more couple of minutes. We are in for about already for about I don't know. Let me just check. Yeah, almost 2 hours. So I will be here for more 10 minutes, and then I will end the stream as well. Nothing to see here, nothing to do here. So it will eventually leave something for the New York PM session. Still ranging, still consolidating. This is usually what happens when we have a London expansion. So interacting with price is always harder when we have some type of an expansion right at the right at London. Um, that's why I did not engage with anything. Honestly, we'll probably not engage until the end of the stream. And yeah, we just have to accept it sometimes. Price does not deliver what we want, and yeah, it's normal. It's acceptable not doing anything and just be here watching price and um watching these candles print and yeah, just spending time with you guys. It's normal and acceptable. So don't go hard on yourselves when you think that, oh, it's a new week, I will have to deliver some kind of position where I have to engage with price and I have to do something. Yeah, that's the worst that you can think. Um, and that will eventually drive you to poor results, to poor risk management, to poor everything. Yeah, for those watching the stream, if you're not subscribed yet, if you're not subscribed yet, yeah, just give the channel a chance and subscribe for a couple of days just to see if you can eventually take anything from these streams. Uh, you will probably get anything from it. Um, I'm mostly trading futures, uh, ES more specifically, and yeah, I'm using ICT concepts. I've been trading for a while now, and yeah, I'm demoing, but I will return to the combines at this yeah this Wednesday. I will return to combine trading this Wednesday, so you might have some interest to see how I will perform and how I will manage things as well. How I manage risk, how I manage the trades, how I manage the mindset, everything that's trading related, honestly. So if you're not subscribed, just subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up as well, a like. it will. It's always good to see someone interacting with a channel. So if you haven't interacted with me, just yeah, just ask me whatever you want. I will try to answer that. And yeah, that's the that kind of transparency that I like here on stream. It's a journey for everybody that's starting their trading journal, so their trading journey. So the more transparent we are with each other, the better, and the more we learn from each other as well. So if you guys have any questions, any doubts, anything, trading relatable or not, I don't mind to try to answer everything that you guys ask. So just write it down on the chat, and I will try my best to answer. Yeah, price is now just consolidating, not doing anything. Um, it can be trading inviting. So yeah, we we just hit the 2 hour mark. Price is not doing anything for the last um 40 minutes. So I guess I will end the stream here. I hope you did not interact with price like this. Otherwise, it could it could have been not so good as you wanted to. But yeah, I'll just see you next Wednesday. I will not be streaming tomorrow. Um, so tomorrow you will have CPI. Be Have that in mind and be cautious with it. Do not try to interact with the market on a pre CPI environment. It will harm you for sure. So yeah, have that in mind. Let the CPI run. See if CPI just takes out some buy side liquidity. If so, we might have the high of the week done with CPI, and eventually the rest of the week we could eventually seek for lower prices. That's what I'm curious to see what will happen tomorrow with CPI. That would be the scenario that I would like to see for CPI. CPI taking out relative equal highs or buy side liquidity or something like that, and then eventually um, price getting lower the rest of the week. So keep that in mind. It might not happen, but it can happen. So if it happens, you will have that in mind. And yeah, hope to see you Wednesday. If you're not subscribed yet, just subscribe. Activate the bell as well, because I will announce my lives prior to the schedule. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a nice Monday afternoon. Have a nice Tuesday, and see you next Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you for being here.